Welcome back to the Forever French podcast. I have John with me today. It's my husband.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to your own house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today I want to talk about Charli, which is like a normal thing that we talk about, like around the clock, basically.
Yes.
But I feel like I've shared online basically most of the diagnosis process and what it's been like for me and what it's been like for her. But what we don't hear a lot about is what it's been like for you.
Mm.
And I think that is a whole, like with autism being a diagnosis that doesn't have like a definitive answer. Like maybe everyone doesn't know that, but like you can't go get an autism test. Like there's no, well, you can, but it's like psychological evaluation and like a lot of information. It's not an opinion. Yeah. John's opinion, well, that goes to your opinion. How did you handle her diagnosis?
I just didn't believe it. Didn't want to accept it.
For like
a long time.
Like probably at least a year.
Yeah, give or take. Year and a half.
But it was hard to know because they told us when she was 18 months old. And like we have a 2-year-old right now. Like they're all kind of.
They're a baby.
Yeah. they're all kind of wild. And so when the doctor suggested it to me, I was like panicking and researching. And you were like.
Whatever.
Yeah. So even through the process of getting her diagnosed, like you did not want to go.
I did not.
You weren't there when she got diagnosed.
No, I was not.
You were just out. Just
didn't believe it.
Yeah. So our process was very difficult for what was happening with Charli. It was difficult for me because it wasn't a team thing at the time. It took quite a while. When do you feel like you really realized she did have autism?
When it came back for real, that they said she did. I guess when I was in Dallas, right?
Yeah, I think you were. You weren't home. Yeah, you were in Dallas. So like when you got like the official paperwork, then you did believe it?
Yeah, I did.
But it took that long. So like they suggested to us at 18 months and then she wasn't diagnosed till 2 years and 9 months. So it was a long time. And we were waiting to get the like diagnosis report, like to see that doctor for 9 months. So that was like, and since we were in such different places with it, and then you happened to be, so you were in Dallas that whole month when they finally gave us an appointment because you just like, you wait. And then they call you and they're like, we have one next week. And I'm sure you offered to come home.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. And I was like, no.
Honestly, I don't remember. That time was such a blur with everything, you know?
Yeah. But it was, because we didn't see eye to eye and we weren't agreeing, it was a little bit easier for me to like, just maybe not have you. You came afterwards when we read the report, you came back for the follow-up? To her psychologist's office?
Yeah, I went to that. But the official word, when they told you and blah, 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 I was in Dallas.
Yeah.
I remember being pretty upset.
Is that when that lady was there? I don't remember what happened.
I don't know. I just walked out of the booth and kind of lost it for about an hour. And there was a older lady there that she has a daughter that has a daughter that's autistic. And she just kind of hung out with me while I just kind of lost it.
Yeah.
And then, collected myself and went back to work.
Yeah, that seems like what you would do. That seems about right. Give it an hour, move on. So, yeah. But for me, the day she got her diagnosis, I had felt like I was like very prepared. I've been waiting for it for so long. I was almost, I would not say not upset.
I was expecting for them to say, like, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, she's fine. She's just a baby.
So you were like totally shocked.
In my mind, I was like convincing and selling myself that, no, there's no way.
You're like, my wife's crazy. She has taken my kid to all this stuff.
Just be supportive. She's going to be fine.
Yeah. So you were very surprised. I was like, okay, we finally have the diagnosis. And it was like the first time you really knew like, oh, this is really what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think up until she got the diagnosis, I don't feel like I mean, we definitely could have missed it if that doctor hadn't called it. And yeah, I don't think you were wrong to be skeptical because she was a baby. And like, they're like, oh, like she's not pointing with one finger. And you're like, yeah, like, so what? Like,
yeah, it's a baby.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
She'll catch up. But obviously as she's gotten older, Charlie's 9 now, it's very apparent that she's
Charli.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got her own thing going on. And I think you went from, I mean, I feel like you're always supportive towards me. Like everyone's like, I'm going to do this. You're always like, okay, like you can, but I think you just didn't believe that anything would come of it.
I just never imagined that in my life, that I would have a child with a disability. That's just me. I just didn't want to believe it, I guess.
Or you didn't plan for it. You just don't expect it. And she's always been Charli. Like she's always been just like happy.
Happy, fun, best little buddy.
Yeah. So to be like, how can you be saying there's something wrong with my child who's also perfect?
Just want to punch the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I feel like you started, I mean, we've been a lot of years into this now. You started off very not accepting. This isn't happening. Once they told you and you actually believed it was happening, I think.
Yeah. It's like, what do we do?
Yeah. And I think then from there, I think you got a little bit more on board with.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Yeah. Like this is what's happening. Then we're going to do it. So when we went to that parent training up in Phoenix, was that the first like parent training you'd ever done?
At that SARC place?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that for me was like a moment of like hope and like, okay, we're going to be okay, because like you had been fighting the diagnosis so bad. And then we went there and they're like training us on how to talk to Charli, which is really annoying and frustrating that you have to go somewhere and someone's going to tell you how to talk to your own kid. It doesn't feel like that should happen.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, I don't know how well you're going to like take to this. And they were like, we're going to make her say bubble. And we had never heard her say anything. And we're like, yeah, no, you're not. And like in a few minutes,
she was doing it.
Yeah. So I think that's when we both got on board, like, okay, like ABA therapy, all these things like are going to be a part of our life.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, you did so much with her there. Yeah. They would make you role play. It's awful.
Oh, yeah. You get on the floor and roll around with them, do whatever they're doing. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
That was actually a pretty good little experience there, you know.
Like, elaborate.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I actually learned, you know, how to kind of deal with her more. You know, if you know how to, I don't know what the right word is, but you know how to, what's the thing that you use to like get her to do stuff?
Like give her multiple choice, or like how to interact with her?
No, like when you give her a cookie, just like there's like a word for it, what it's called.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Yeah, that word, whatever that word is. I learned how to do that.
Some people don't like ABA therapy because they compare it to dog training.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that before, and I was like, yeah, that's like. I mean, I kind of get both sides.
Yeah, like I see what you're saying, but also if you can't communicate with your kid at all, and they're like just
like use a treat to like get them to do something, or something that they like to get them to do something, and I do that now with making them eat dinner. You know, that's how I get to eat dinner. I give her stuff as like a, you know, what I don't know what the word is.
What is that called?
Yeah.
Incentive.
It's not incentive. It's an actual word. That's a word for it.
Like the ABA word for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she will work for treats.
She will work for stuff.
She will work for treats. Still now. I mean, they tell us that like really early.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely is an actual term for it that's escaping us, but for Charli, like
to motivate her to eat dinner or finish her drink or clean up her mess or put her clothes on or let you brush her hair or anything.
Yeah, there's definitely like a bribing system.
Yeah, it's definitely a bribe.
Yeah, it's definitely
autism bribe.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was the first. I mean, I think every step along the way, every time we see like the next therapy and you like see progress from her not being able to say anything to actually doing what they're asking her to do, it's like, okay, maybe we'll listen to them a little bit more because they could get her to do more than we could by a lot.
Sure. I was pretty blown away by how much they had her doing in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah. They're like, she's going to say bubble. And we're like,
there's no way.
And there she goes.
Yeah, I'm just doing it.
She loves bubbles still. Like loves them. So like now it's been years and years and it's been thousands of hours of ABA. So maybe not everyone knows this, that like when your kid is having ABA therapy, that the parents have to go to training also, which I feel like I usually get to do, but you do sometimes.
I have done it.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I've had to go for hours and hours. So that way, whatever they're teaching her or like how they're interacting with her, we interact with her the same at home. Which you like to call them bribes.
Bribes.
Yeah. That is
bribes.
But like also like the way you talk to her, multiple choice, and the way you make her ask for things verbally. Like, because it used to be, we just could tell exactly what she wanted. We knew exactly, like, you just know, like, you don't have to talk to know, like, oh, obviously she's thirsty. Or, like, she walked that way. She probably wants her cup. And at some point we had to like stop just jumping in and giving her what she wanted and wait for her to actually
ask for it, or make her, or ask her to say it, saying, do you want water? Yes or no? Yeah. Make her say yes or make her say no.
That was like a huge thing when she started answering yes and no questions.
Oh, yeah. Big deal.
Which was only what, maybe last year, the year before?
Yeah, year and a half ago.
She's 9. And I think she maybe started answering yes and no questions when she was like maybe 7.
Yeah.
And so
late 6, early 7. Yeah.
I think that people are confused on if she can talk or not. And so am I.
I think she's a lot smarter than she puts out. I think she's hiding a lot.
Yeah.
It's my daughter, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to herself. Because she can say any word she wants to, but she just doesn't like really.
She gets upset. She'll yell at you like a full like paragraph.
I know. You know? If she's mad.
You get her amped up. She'll tell you right how she feels.
But if she's happy, she doesn't have much. I mean, that's kind of like
happy,
you.
She's kind of like just like whatever. I don't care.
I mean, you kind of are that way too.
Yeah, but get her mad, and she'll just like, I want this. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I ever heard her say anything at all. I mean, I never heard her make a sentence. You were gone, like traveling which you don't travel as much anymore, which is really nice for us. But when they were little,
yeah.
I mean, how much were you traveling then? Like,
I don't know, 300 days a year.
Like
a lot.
Insane. So our early years of having kids, and I used to travel with you as much as I could, but the issue was with Charlie's so I was home more. But when you took that traveling job, we thought like, oh, well, travel as a family.
Yeah.
And then that like didn't work.
Yeah.
But we still had to do the job. So,
yeah,
when you were gone, and you had been gone for a couple of weeks at that time, and Charlie yelled at me. Do you remember when I called you and told you that? She yelled at me. She's like, I want Dad to come home now.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I never heard her say anything. And I thought maybe I was actually like losing my mind. Like I was like, am I not okay? Like this kid doesn't talk, but she just like yelled this crazy thing to me. And I called you and told you.
Yeah.
Did you believe me?
I know I did.
Yeah.
I was pretty blown away by it, but I believed you.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't sure I believed me. I was like, I don't know. Like she was screaming, she was upset. And I would say that's like one of the biggest things with Charlie that's been amazing is like when she was younger, the temper tantrums were like pretty unhinged. Like she's not, I don't feel like we have that as much. Like, don't you feel like? She's
very more mellow now, more chill, more go with the flow. She'll just kind of calmly ask for stuff.
Until she doesn't.
Yeah, until like, if you aren't paying attention or put her off, then she'll get upset. She'll start off calm.
Yeah. I feel like she's also like her voice has gotten louder recently. Like I feel like she's talking louder.
Definitely louder. Definitely will argue and negotiate.
Yeah. She maybe got that one from you.
I was like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So now, like all this time later, you have the kids as much as I do, like as far as like
probably more.
Yeah, a little bit. Like so the early years you were working all the time, you were gone, you missed a ton, and I was home. And then once we built this business and it was doing more and more demanding of me, you basically cut your traveling down to
10% what I was doing before.
Yeah. So and with that you have the kids some days from all day. And so
which I enjoy.
Yeah.
They're my little team,
Yeah. Yeah. But like with Charlie, like probably one of the hardest things we have with her is like feeding her.
I got it down pretty good.
I feel like you're better at it than I
definitely
at this
better
point.
at it.
Yeah. Like you why is that? Why can you feed her and I can't?
I don't know. Maybe I just pay attention to her the whole time.
Oh, rude. That's so rude.
I mean, I didn't mean that in a rude way. I mean, I'm just very, making her sit in her chair the whole time, and I don't want her to run off and just dance all night. And, I just have something there to like, bribe her to finish the whole time.
I mean, it does take her like an hour.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At least an hour to eat dinner.
Our teacher says the same thing. She has to sit next to her the whole time to get her to finish her food. So that's just kind of what she requires, unless she's basically starving.
Yeah. Well, I think she would starve herself. People are like, kids will eat if they're hungry. Like, she won't.
She won't.
Like, she also eats like 6 foods.
Yeah.
7 foods.
Yep.
So.
Not a lot.
Yeah. But you've learned how to bribe her with like eating eggs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'll get like an iPad out and I'll set it right there and I'll say, okay, finish the eggs, and then you can have the iPad.
But you also like trick her. You don't ask her yes and no anymore because she tell you no. Mm-hmm. Now you ask her like 3 eggs or 4.
I ask her questions that she has to like answer like
the way you want.
The way I want. Yeah. It's a sales close. Okay.
It's a sales close. He's using his sales techniques too.
So you want it delivered tomorrow or next week?
Yeah.
You want 3 eggs or do you want 4 eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give her an option to tell me no.
Yeah. It used to be like yes and yeah. But I mean, it's working.
Yeah,
like,
it works.
So when you leave, I'm like, oh geez, that's like the hardest thing is when you're out of town. Is like I have to make her dinner, and she doesn't. It's hard. I mean, she just like. I mean, for you though, she doesn't even stay in her chair. Like she gets out of her chair and she like runs.
I mean, I have to manage her the whole time to stay in her chair.
But she still will get up.
She still will get, no matter what. You're not gonna, unless you get a belt, strap her down to a chair. Or
which we don't do, we're not doing.
That's the only way.
Clarify.
She will 100% get up and dance around and get involved and do whatever she wants to do and get her toys. And
I mean, she's having a great time. She's always having a good time.
She's just enjoying life.
Yeah, she's fully.
But we got to get that belly full of some food.
Yeah, yeah. She'll take like a bite of one raspberry and just be gone.
Mm-hmm. Or I'll get her all kind of pumped up on trying to eat a bunch. I'll just try and get her laughing or tell her chug, 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 chug.
Oh, yeah,
she'll start laughing.
That is a family motto around here.
And that works with getting her to cram a bunch of stuff in her mouth and just chew it up and get it down. But it does work.
Yeah, just here for,
yeah.
More parenting advice.
The other kids help too. They all know. Ocean will go up right to her and start telling Char to chug, chug, chug.
I know our kids. They sound like they're doing drinking games. It's like our past life is just really, set us up for success. You got your background in sales.
Yeah. Peer pressure from being a, fun, crazy kid.
Yeah. We just use that.
Yeah. In a positive way.
Yeah. Life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think Charli's future will look like?
I mean, I've always said I just expect that she'll live with us forever. And I'm totally okay with that. Honestly, it'll probably be boring with all of them gone, which it will be. But I mean, I think that she may surprise us. I don't know. Just because she's making so many great steps toward like functioning and communicating all that stuff. So you really never know.
Yeah.
But she stays here. Cool.
I get almost sad to think about her leaving because forever we were like, oh yeah, she'll probably just live with us forever. But she's making a lot of progress, which is amazing. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
What if she grows up?
Yeah.
Like what if she grows up and leaves us? But yeah, it's pretty hard to say right now. Hard to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the next maybe 3 to 5 years, we'll probably see some big changes.
I mean, I feel like every 3 to 5 years we've seen huge changes, but yeah, I think maybe it'd be like more to
it'll be more
of an idea, like definitive, like where
what she's gonna end up like.
But we just recently found out that she can do like long addition,
which is crazy.
Like she was doing like math, like touch math, and when someone doesn't verbally communicate, it's hard to know what they know, and so
that's why I say she's a lot smarter and knows a lot more than she puts on.
For sure. So like
she's hiding a ton inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if she just starts talking, I mean at this point, like she does it well. Like I mean she pours her own milk and she can get her own stuff and like she can get herself dressed. So it's like if she just randomly decides to actually start talking.
She kind of does now.
But I mean like fully.
Sometimes she'll just like calmly, when she does it to me, when I pick her up or do whatever, she'll just calmly ask me a question like a normal little kid, So I'm expecting her to just kind of pop and to start talking, be a little weird. But
yeah.
just to start talking.
We embrace the weird. It's totally fine. Yeah. She's definitely not typical.
Yeah. But I think that will happen.
I think so too. And I think it is. I think she's been talking so much more like this year. Mm-hmm. And it's weird. Sometimes you notice and sometimes you don't. She just starts like slipping in. Mm-hmm. Like what she told me the other day, she's like, Mom, dolphins are cool. And this is, I would say in the most recent months, like so new that she would say something that isn't to get something. Mm-hmm. Like all of her language has always been.
Yeah, no, it's just like you're just talking.
Yeah. And that's like brand new. I say in the last like month or two.
Yeah.
Because prior.
I've noticed it for the last like probably 4 or 5 months.
You think so? Like, I feel like it's more, like definitely more and more often.
Yeah.
But like previously, she's only going to talk to you to get something.
Yeah, she just wants something.
Yeah.
But now she'll sometimes just talk just to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you'll learn that skill one day.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me like what that was like, because there's probably other people who have like, are going through similar things, and we're not going to be the only couple who are not on the same page. I think it's actually, I know a lot of moms who are going through this and like, they're like, yeah, my husband doesn't think they have it. Like,
I mean, then I was like, I don't know, like kind of embarrassed a little bit when I'm like dealing with it in my mind. And then you just kind of, I don't know. I mean, I had such mixed emotions everywhere. I don't even know if I was embarrassed. I just was like, didn't feel like it was supposed to feel like this. I don't know. I was just very confused in my mind when I was
like, you didn't want to tell people she had autism?
Yeah.
I think that's probably common. I think a lot of people were surprised that I was not like that. I think I think tons of people don't tell people their kids have autism.
I wasn't like embarrassed of her though. I think you and I have talked about that before. You're like, no, that means you're embarrassed. Like, no, I'm not embarrassed, Charlie. I just like, I think it's my problem. Like, I don't understand. I just feel like maybe this is not what I feel like. Sometimes this is what was supposed to happen, but it did. And I'm in my mind just trying to deal with it.
Like, you think it wasn't supposed to happen and it did?
Yeah.
Like we did something?
No, we didn't do something. You already know like what I think. I think it was all the birth.
Yeah. Well, so that was me. My bad.
That was not you.
No.
That was not you. That was like, we didn't know what to do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, her birth was super traumatic. I guess we could talk about that.
Mm-hmm. It definitely was her birth.
I mean, so yeah, we have different thoughts. That you really.
I 100% think it was her birth.
So her birth was super, super traumatic.
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then that 10 days in the NICU, and like, who knows what they pumped her with. And like, we went to multiple hospitals trying to get her out. They used a big vacuum. She came out like freaking Conehead, like crazy, out of control, like a pylon.
What's a pylon?
Like, like the orange things you see on the road that are like a triangle.
Oh, jeez.
Her head was terrible.
I didn't see it. I was too far gone. So her birth was 53 hours of labor.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Emily was pregnant. I was recording this. Yeah, so it was 53 hours, and it did take 2 hospitals. Mm-hmm. So we had gone to the first. Well, we were induced at one hospital. They sent us home. Went back. They sent us home. Wanted to go back a third time, but it was like, okay, they're probably going to send us home. It was far. So we ended up, well, no, the contractions got too bad on the way home.
Mm-hmm. Then we went right to Casa Grande.
So we went to a closer hospital.
Yeah.
And then they took us in right away, but she was 10 days overdue. They
gave you whatever that drug is, Pitocin. Yep. And got things rolling, and, that baby wouldn't come out.
She was huge.
And I remember, this is why I say, like, I don't think it was like our fault. I don't think we were like fully prepared on what we're supposed to do. I remember them kept asking, what do you want to do?
I know. I was like, get her out. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I want to do?
Yeah, well, we want to get the baby out. And I know that they're baiting us into, saying like, do a C-section, cut the baby out, get it out. Right. We didn't know that.
Like, we didn't know. They kept saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
I'm like, I guess they can't ask us some whatever law or bullshit, whatever it is, like where they can't ask us to do like a C-section, that we have to like ask them. Or
I don't know if that's like right, if it's like an emergency. I'm not really sure. But like when we go back to that, I do wonder, like, because they asked so many times, what do you want to do? And I was getting so frustrated.
They kept asking over and over and over and
I was so frustrated. I'm like, I've never done this.
Let's get the baby out.
Yeah. What do you mean? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
So by the time they did get her out, I mean, it was 50. We went awake for 53 hours. I think you had too. Like, it was like, we were not mentally well. And then she was super overdue. She had meconium in her lungs. Mm-hmm. So as soon as she came out, there was like a helicopter on the roof. So she was like,
she was airlifted, wearing Mesa, right?
Yeah.
And then she went there and she was just...
Her lungs were full. And I missed all that. So you were there with her from the beginning. And I remember that you were...
That was rough.
Yeah, like I remember you saying like you didn't even want to like go in there.
I was just, I don't know. I hate even saying it, but I was just kind of preparing. Like if she didn't make it, I didn't want to like have any weird bond. I was trying to protect my feelings or whatever.
Yeah, you were just like, my dad was saying, he was like, yeah, he doesn't want to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was down. I couldn't leave the hospital because I was like not physically well either, but I was like super drugged up. So I was having a much better time. I remember I was just like eating coffee cake and like reading a book. Everybody else is like traumatized. And I'm like,
yeah, I'm in like a little closet sleeping.
I know those rooms were so weird. Like it was like a room with a chair.
Yeah.
That the baby's not in. They just give you a room with a chair.
Yeah. And I just kind of stayed away for a while until like she started like doing a lot better after we all kind of met and like your dad prayed for her and all that stuff. And then she started going a lot better. And then that's when I started kind of.
And then we thought like, oh, like she did that. She was on oxygen.
Oh yeah.
And so
who knows what she was on? She was on so much.
And we didn't, like our first kid, we didn't really know anything. And so once we got through that hospital stay, we thought, we made it. Like that was the end. I never imagined like, you know, what happens
just
after
go in,
that.
baby, hold it, hugs and kisses, go home a day later.
Yeah.
No,
that's not what happened. Yeah. So, I mean, that is like do you get frustrated like I do when people ask, like, was it the vaccines?
People that say that crap, I just don't even acknowledge them like they're in the room.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
I am very good at selective hearing, and if you say some bullshit I don't like, I just don't hear it.
Yeah, you just move right on. But like, did you? Well, no, you weren't with. Like when we were at SeaWorld the other day, though, and we were getting her like tag so we could keep her stroller because we use it when we need it. And the lady was like, "Oh, what's wrong with her?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing. Like, she has autism." And she's like, "Yeah, everybody has it now. It's such an epidemic. What do you think it is? Is it the vaccines?"
Oh, when people say stuff like that, I don't think they mean anything negative by it. I just don't think they like know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but I was like, wait, what? Like, I'm just here to see some fish. Like,
yeah,
I'm not prepared for this conversation right now.
I mean, obviously that person probably doesn't have like a child or whatever with a disability, so they don't know how sensitive it can be. Like if you're someone that's dealing with it, you know.
I feel like I've gotten less sensitive because you have to, because it's for so many years people saying stupid stuff to us.
Yeah, I've just never even like,
you either can get more offended or you're gonna have to get less offended.
Yeah, you're just like whatever. You're stupid.
John. Oh geez, yeah. So I don't think it's the vaccines. In case anybody wants to know what I think.
I mean, you never know. Like me, anything.
I mean,
I think ours was the birth, though.
I think the birth had a massive impact. Yeah. I also think that, like, I don't really think it's an epidemic. Like, I think that there's always been autistic kids. Like, I think they just weren't diagnosed. But I feel like if you like think back to like school, I mean, was there any kid in your class that was like a little, like Charli, had a hard time staying in their chair or got in trouble a lot? Like,
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like if you kind of learn a lot about autism and go back, I can kind of start like maybe pinpointing some out. Like, oh, maybe that one.
I knew one autistic kid when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But he was like, you know, Ben Affleck and the Accountant, autistic.
Yeah.
It was like a robot genius kind of thing. He was just like in his own reserve. That's just kind of.
So like when you heard Charli was autistic, did you think about him?
No, I don't know. I just didn't really think about that till just now.
Till just now,
because you asked the question, you know.
So I just always feel like, for multiple reasons, I've always wanted to share. Which you were always supportive when I was like, "Oh, I'm going to share Charli's story." You didn't really.
I'm a very supportive husband.
Yeah, you really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I have like two trains of thought on that. It's like I wish I had some like reference of hope when Charli was diagnosed, because I didn't know anyone, and it just sounded really bad to me, and I didn't know the difference between this diagnosis and anything else. Not to say it's better or worse, but like I didn't understand it. And so I always feel like if someone could just see Charli and like, I'm gonna say it's not that bad. It's not like it's a big life adjustment. It's not one we planned on, and our life's completely different than we thought it would be.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of, at least with like the other kids, it brings them like a little bit closer, because they know that they got to take care of Charli, and they're all very protective of Charli, and Paisley, I've always told her that her job is to take care of Charli, and she took that to heart. So wherever you take her out, she's just right on top of, worrying about Charli.
She's like, Charli, out of the road. Charli.
She knows that that's her job, is to take care of her sister.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't change anything because I feel like it does. Honestly, it forced me to come home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
I'd
you,
probably
God.
still be on the road right now.
300 days a year.
Yep. It forced me to come home.
Which you are happy to be home.
Yeah. No, I'm happy. I could never go back to that life.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I love being here now.
Now, compared to before.
I liked it before.
No,
but
you just loved your job.
Yeah. It was just fun and hang out, make some money.
Yeah.
Hang out with my bro club. Like it was fun. But now, my team's at home. So
yeah, I feel like autism, the diagnosis. Well, any diagnosis is bad. That's also when people ask us like, if I say like, oh, my daughter's autism, and they say like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like, but what is the right response? I don't even know what I want someone to say to me. When they say sorry, I'm like, oh no, it's okay.
That's kind of, that's kind of what I say. I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine.
No, it's fine. But I think that maybe it shouldn't be like I guess it is a diagnosis, but like, it's kind of hard because there's no such thing as a good diagnosis.
Yeah.
Right. Any diagnosis comes with like a negative connotation. You can't be diagnosed with something good.
Yeah.
Right. I can't think of anything.
Either way, she's going to work through it.
You can be diagnosed as do you get diagnosed as a super genius maybe? So maybe, is there? I feel like there's not like, it's generally derogatory, but I feel like if you could get to that place where like autism is not good, autism is not bad. It just is
part of who you are.
It just is like autism is a part of our life. It affects our day, every single day, every single moment of our waking hours or sleeping hours because she doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Like it affects but I think for our kids in like such a good way.
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely makes them tighter.
And I think that, we've all had to learn patience.
Mm-hmm.
I think Charli's made me probably a better human.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Yeah. You're a lot more hinged. Not unhinged.
Oh, perfect. I wouldn't disagree though. That is true. I feel like, I don't know. I do really feel like Charli was God's gift to us and she is exactly who she's supposed to be. And it is completely different than anything I ever imagined. Even my own parents said like, oh, we're just like so shocked that like you have patience. Like we're so shocked that you're good at being a mom basically. And I'm like, that's kind of rude. But also I understand what they're saying because if someone would have told me before I had kids, like, oh, like how I think I told you even before, like having kids with special needs was like actually a fear. Mm-hmm. I was like afraid of it.
Me too.
Because I didn't think I'd be good at it.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I think it's funny that so far ago, I can't even think of that now, but I do know that it was like, I was very concerned about it.
I don't even think of her like she has special needs. I just think she's just Charli.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the diagnosis process is confusing because they're like telling you something so quote unquote bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you just like keep looking at her like she's the same kid we've always had. She's always been fun.
Yeah.
She's fun.
She's crazy. She's fun though.
She is crazy. Okay, we'll elaborate on that. Like when you say she's crazy, like
she's just, I don't know.
Like how would you even describe Charli?
Just the life of the party. Just wants to dance. Just wants to just be streaking in this house. She never wants to wear clothes. Eats nothing but crap. Just wants to live on McDonald's fries and Coke. And she's just a freaking animal. But she's sweet and she's just Charli.
She's always been funny.
Yeah, always been funny.
Like even like she doesn't have to. You don't talk to be funny.
No. She'll do stuff now because she knows she's being funny too.
Yeah.
You catch her like messing around like she's messing with you, and it's just like I just smile at her. I'm like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah, she has like comedic timing.
She definitely does.
Yeah.
She's definitely a funny little kid.
She'll steal things from you, hide
them.
She'll
laugh about it.
Yeah.
She'll take something and she'll laugh about it.
She has the best laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's.
Yeah.
I think so much of the therapy also when they start, they're like, oh, we're gonna like make them normal. Mm-hmm. Like they're going to train them to be non-autistic. And honestly, I think that was our goal. Like when we didn't know better, they were like, "Oh, she might outgrow by age 6." I'm like, "Well, we'll do the therapy. Maybe she'll
get her out.
She'll
we'll
be normal.
First grade, ready to go."
No, I wouldn't really hope that for her.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need her to be normal.
No.
We got some normal kids that are, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a whole crew, like so many. But I think Ocean even is kind of I feel like, well, even the baby, they're all
very protective of her.
Yeah, and they don't fight with her. They all fight with each other, and then they all protect her.
Yep, they all just like, okay, it's just Charli.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. They're doing whatever, blah, 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 and, like, oh, Charli doesn't have to. It's okay. She's okay. They just know to give her a little grace and have her back. And
I hope it makes them, like, more empathetic to other kids.
Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, they play really well with other autistic kids. Like, if, someone brings another kid over here, they're...
Sure.
Like... But they are starting to notice.
Yeah, they definitely notice.
Like, I took them to the park, and one of them asked me, like, why can't Charli talk? And I'm like, huh.
Yeah. I just tell them, yeah, she's just a little special. She's just learning everything on her own time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why we got to protect her.
Did I tell you? Oh my gosh, did I tell you this? That Ocean thought, because he always asks, why do we have that blue thing, the handicap tag in our car? Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, it's Charli's. We have that for Charli because, she used to still sometimes might get out of the car and run into traffic. So having the handicap tag does help keep her safer because sometimes as she gets out of the car, she'll just take off running. So being your sidewalk or when she was younger, she used to have meltdowns and it'd be really hard to get her back to the car. So
laying on the ground on the asphalt, kicking and screaming
around.
Yeah.
120 degrees, getting burns, asphalt burns.
Train wreck.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
We've gone through some stuff.
Yeah. It's been a while since that
has
happened.
So I'm saying the meltdowns and the tantrums, I feel like I've been under control for years.
Yeah.
So it's just the language piece.
Yeah.
But so I was telling Ocean, yeah, that's for Charli. And he was like, when is she going to stop walking? And I was like, what? He's like, when is she going to get in her chair? When she's going to stop walking? And I was like, you thought this whole time she was going to stop walking? He thought the handicap tag meant that she was going to have to
funny.
And I was like, no, she's going to walk. He was like, oh, I thought we were waiting for her to stop walking. I'm like, no, we're just waiting for her to start talking.
Ocean's so funny. He's such a smart little question asker.
I know. And I was like, oh yeah, no, she's okay.
Yeah, that's funny. I could see him asking that.
Yeah. And then I'm going to ask you about Paisley briefly, but I know you don't like this one.
Oh, I don't care. Paisley doesn't have autism. Paisley was copycatting Charli.
Paisley has autism. Paisley has autism.
She was copycatting Charli because that's all she knew.
So we're still having this argument.
Now she's king of her class.
She is. She's the student of the month. She is amazing. Mm-hmm. But John obviously doesn't believe she has autism, but she does. She does.
Well, whatever she has, she's
fine.
She's the champion.
I mean, yeah. So the difference. Paisley is level 1. Mm-hmm. Charli is level 3. I mean, with Paisley, I feel like you were the same with Charli. No, she doesn't have it. And then I was like, okay, got a diagnosis. She has it. And you're like, yeah, no, she doesn't have it. It might take you. You're never accepting that.
I'm always gonna be fighting for Paisley.
Yeah.
I think she's just gonna be a good little regular kid.
And I think she has it, and she's still a good regular kid.
Yeah.
I know you always think they were copycatting, but really their early symptoms were pretty different. I mean, other than they both had extremely delayed speech, wildly delayed. Yeah. Ocean talked first.
Yeah.
Our third child talked before the first two.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird experience.
Yeah, it was weird.
So there was that, but she did the toe walking, and the hand flapping, and stuff that Charli never did. Mm-hmm. But she really did outgrow almost everything. Outgrow what they say, by age 6, I think she's, and they say that can happen. So are those misdiagnoses or that just a different kind of diagnosis? I don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, diagnoses are not. I mean, Paisley's diagnosis has been really a nightmare for us because since she officially has one, but she really can function typically. I mean, she's in a mainstream kindergarten classroom, in a big class, and the teachers always say she's the best student. She's amazing, but she has this diagnosis, so it does hinder her in a lot of situations where we couldn't get her into a private school because they said they didn't have the capacity to take someone with diagnosis. I'm like, well, just ignore it. Like, she's fine. Like, just put her in class. And obviously, they didn't want to. So that's been like a long fight. So you're a little bit right in that. So had she not, I don't know. She did a lot of therapy that I think did help her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, therapy will help anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect people. Therapy helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's been, definitely different with her. But having one that's level 1, having one that's level 3, or, I mean, that's what I have. I know you just have one that's level 3 and then nothing else. But
I'm just me.
No, I mean, you don't even claim that she has it, Paisley.
Nah, I think she's perfect. I don't know what she is. I don't know about her label. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately they definitely don't matter. I mean, other than getting them services they need and getting them whatnot. But I agree that probably Paisley could never go to therapy again and function fine.
She just has fun there.
She does like therapy. She does social group.
She likes to color her pictures and do all of her little stuff there. So I think it's just more a fun little activity for her.
I mean, that's what you guys both think, but they're definitely getting some stuff in there.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then the boys so far seem solid.
Yep.
I mean, Palm technically is the age where he could be diagnosed, but I feel confident.
He's already starting to talk.
Yeah, like I feel confident he doesn't have it. But I'm saying even at that age, the girls be like...
They're nothing like him.
He reminds me so much of Charli, though. But not in like an autistic way, just like his personality way.
Yeah, like funny.
He looks like her. He's funny. But he does
use
words. Yeah.
But he'll work and he'll ask for stuff. And like he's asking stuff to get stuff. So he's doing a lot of things that Charli never did.
Right. And all the signs now, like pointing with one finger, like all the stuff.
He does all that.
We're like, look, he's doing that. He's like eye contact. Well, he's advanced for his age, for sure. He's always been like.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very early.
Yeah.
Very good at communicating. Very good problem solver. Figures things out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He like started talking at like 10 months, 9-10 months.
He'll just try and figure things out. Like I see him doing it in his mind. I'm like, wow, how are you doing this at 5?
Yeah.
Like, I barely do that now. You know?
Well, will I ever talk you into coming back again?
I mean, sure. If there's any other big thing that you need my involvement.
Your involvement?
Other than that,
Well, I mean, I feel like I'll ask other people what they want to ask you because I think people want to know, like a dad's perspective on what it's like for the kid to be diagnosed.
Yeah.
I sometimes, I should make a list of questions. I still want to know because I think a lot of that time we were just both processing it so differently that maybe we weren't. Well, and I think because you felt badly about it, like I don't think you wanted to talk about it because I
don't want to talk about anything.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Okay.
That is true. So yeah. But I feel like we were processing it so differently that at the time, I think it took us a long time to ever have a real conversation about like, I mean, I think, like you said, I'm unhinged. Thank you. I think
You're hinged now.
Now. I'm saying back then.
There's unhinged and there's hinged.
Yeah.
So
I've
before,
been on both.
Now.
Yeah. But I remember I just being like hysterical. Like, what's going to happen? Is she going to be okay? It's going to be okay? Like, what's going to happen? And you're like.
She's going to be fine.
Like, it's fine.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, let me know when you need me.